My name is Matt Sheehan. I'm principal at Sterling High School, and I want to welcome you to our curriculum night. Just to give you a little bit of information about me, I'm a Sterling graduate, class of '87. I'm one of 10 Sheehans to go through Sterling. So 30 some odd years ago, I was sitting in those seats, probably giving something similar to the presentation you're going to be receiving in a few minutes. And all I can assure you is that the class of 2022 is going to have an excellent experience here at Sterling High School. As you can see, from the bottom of the floors to the top of the ceilings, I mean, we really care about our building. We really care about our staff. So this is one of the projects through our community support. We were able to do upgrades to our auditorium. But I just challenge you as you go through our building tonight, we really have a nice facility for education and making sure that our students have the best environment that they can have for learning, both inside and out. And again, that's a tribute to the community support, but also our Board of Education and our superintendent. So curriculum night, what is it? Hopefully when you walk out of here tonight, you'll say, oh, okay, that's what we're talking about with curriculum. As freshmen, there are certain classes that you are required to take, and then there are electives. Fortunately, the electives get a little bit more common, or you have more opportunities as you work your way through high school. Freshman year is pretty strict as far as the classes that we offer for our freshman level students. All right, so at this time, I'm going to introduce you to Mr. Napoleon, our superintendent.
Good evening, everyone. I'll give you a little history. For myself, I came here in the early 90s, taught social studies. At a later point, I moved to Woodbury as a guidance counselor, vice principal, came back as director of guidance, and eventually principal, and now superintendent. So my history goes back 24 years now. Sterling has always been a great place. Some of the things that I'm going to mention in a second here we're very, very proud of. And I'm glad that you had the opportunity to come out tonight. There's other things to do, it's great weather, but I think you'll find tonight is informative. It all began a few years ago with Ms. Considine. We felt that we needed to reach out to the parents and the 8th graders to let them know about curriculum and where we're going to prepare them, your child, for life after Sterling High School. So I'm going to probably be walking around with Mr. Sheehan. I'll have the mic here if you have any questions as the night goes on. Again, ask questions. I want to give you a few things related to curriculum that are important. And you may not think of them as curriculum related. These are things over the last, I'm going to say, a year and a half, 2 years, significant accomplishments by Sterling High School students. First of all, we got back into the good graces of the Navy. We have an NJROTC program that was reinstated. And the NJROTC program is a service program, a leadership program. I would recommend all of you as parents to get your child involved in that. We have several openings. We've got almost 90 students, and they're constantly doing things throughout the community. We have athletes. We have students that are involved in other things, students that are just involved in ROTC, you name it, male, female. We're proud of those kids. Please ask questions about that. CUSAC rating over the last couple of years, that's the quality assurance that the county brings. We are highly effective, meaning that we have all of our paperwork in order. Our students are being prepared. And that's led by Ms. Considine. I want to thank her because we weren't so good 4 years ago, and now we're very good. We have strategic planning, and you all were invited. Strategic planning is a series of meetings with students, parents, community members, teachers, administration, and we try to think of ways in which to improve Sterling High School. You can check it out on our website, and scroll down, you'll see some of the initiatives, and if you have any interest in being part of it, please email me, and I'll get you started very soon. The one-to-one initiative, we're in year 2. We have a commitment in the next couple of years that all of our students will have a device, and I'm sure we'll talk about that tonight. Meaningful professional development, our staff is trained, and we continually move with the times here. And I want to thank my administrative staff for getting that going. Last year, we had a 57-point increase in our SAT scores. We continue to increase our scores in math and language arts PARCC. AP scores are through the roof. We were 44% passing 3 years ago, and now we're above 78% in 2017. So that means every student passed with a 3, 4, or 5 score. If you're familiar with AP, that's how they score it. So we went from 44% to 78%. And now, for the first time ever, we've gone above the state average, where we're higher than any state average, and globally. And so we're pretty proud of that. Ms. Mima Camarada is Teacher of the Year in the county, and she was in the final 7 in the state. I'm not sure if you're aware of that. We have things called structured learning experiences, where as a senior, you can go out half a day, be involved in a career, get credit, or get paid for it. We have 5 years of English now. So a student in their freshman year will double up with an English, with the language arts. We have inclusion, our multiply disabled students. We have tremendous upgrades in the facilities there. Significant increase in college scholarships over the previous year, some $4 million. We had a good class last year. And the other thing is rigor. We're going to bring more rigorous courses to Sterling High School, because again, that's what the state constantly tells us. Obviously, you're going to have to satisfy certain areas, but again, we want to challenge students. And so you may hear the term rigor. And so for those things, we're very, very proud, all related to curriculum. I want to get back to the construction projects. In May, we're going to have a meeting of the community, and we're going to talk about where we were, where we are now, and where we're going to be as far as the construction projects. And air conditioning affects academics. It affects curriculum. I'm proud of this. This is a classroom here. You know, when you go down the hallways, our HVAC system is improved, our heating is improved, and I think our kids are important. We got a new roof. You know, if you think about that, it's very important because our students didn't miss a day of school. We were around here a few years chasing rain with buckets. And there was a tragic situation in Williamstown where they had to close the schools down. But we were ahead of the game. We knew that there could have been a mold issue. Well, there's no mold issue, okay, because we changed the roof in this district. So always keep that in mind. But that'll be out in May, and you know, we'll keep you more informed. So, Ms. Considine, I want to thank Ms. Considine for getting this together every year. She does such a great job. So I'm going to bring it over to Ms. Considine, our Vice Principal of Curriculum. Ms. Considine.
Thank you. It's a little louder than I thought. I apologize. I guess I'll start with a little history of background about myself as well. I'm starting my 17th year here at Sterling High School. I started as a math teacher, moved into a supervisory position. I was supervisor of math and science, and for the past 3 years I have been the vice principal in charge of curriculum and instruction. So we decided a few years ago that it was important for us to meet with freshman parents to kind of help familiarize them with Sterling High School, the courses that we have to offer, the program planning guide. Some of you, it may be your first time in our high school. Others have had, children that have come through Sterling High School or may currently be students here. But things change all the time. This is an exciting and nervous time for students and parents as you're finishing up the second half of 8th grade and now beginning to look forward to what high school has to offer. So we're hoping that the information that we are able to provide you tonight will help ease that transition. Okay, so I'm going to talk about some of the curriculum initiatives in addition to what Mr. Napoleon referenced a few minutes ago. Sterling High School is committed to regularly reviewing our curriculum, keeping in line with the demands of the state, but also making sure that we prepare our students for the 21st century, and that's a challenge. We're preparing students for jobs that have not yet been created, for technologies that we don't know exist at this time. So our goal is to prepare good thinkers, students that can identify problems, work through solutions, and not just focus on just standards alone, which yes, they are very important, but also with skills and attributes that our employers look for so that they're successful in college and beyond. A lot of the decisions that we make here are data-driven, from individual students to classroom, school, district-wide. We take a lot of data and we analyze it to make decisions that are best for students, parents, families, teachers, and the school. Some students may have recently participated in the honors placement test. So that's one example of a piece of data that we use to help place students in courses that are rigorous, challenging, but appropriate. And we do that across the board from incoming 8th graders all the way to 12th grade. We want to challenge our students, but we want students to be successful as well. The middle of the day. So a few years ago, we analyzed our schedule. We currently run under a 4x4 block schedule. So there's a semester, it's a semester-based schedule where students have 4 academic classes each semester that are 80 minutes in length. In the middle of the day, there's also an 80-minute period, 40-minute lunch, and a 40-minute, which in the past was designated really just towards a study hall. Some students still choose to use that 40 minutes in the middle of the day for a study hall, and that serves the purpose of some students very well. However, we've decided to offer some classes during that time. Some of the classes that we offer are chorus, band, medical terminology, law and public safety, classes that students really are interested in, but maybe don't want to have to give up one of their academic courses in order to pursue an interest that they have. So many students are taking advantage of this 40 minutes in the middle of the day in order to really pursue something that they have a strong interest in. In addition, we use this time for remediation, for tutoring for students that are struggling, and also for some of our AP teachers use it for what they call office hours. So they open their doors for students to come in and make it, it's like a college experience where you want to work one-on-one with the teacher, work through a problem, or begin to review for an AP test. So we've really decided to push meaning into this middle of the day, rather than it just being straight across study hall for all students. We also offer many dual credit and advanced placement courses, and I'll show you a list on the next slide just to highlight some of the awesome opportunities that we have for students to gain college credit before they leave Sterling High School. And some 4-year programs, and our 4-year programs are going to be highlighted a little bit later this evening, and what these programs allow students to do are focus on a specific interest within their freshman year, begin and build upon that interest over their 4 years here at Sterling High School. If you take a look, this is a pretty comprehensive list. This list is all the opportunities that our students have to take dual credit and advanced placement courses. We regularly look for opportunities to partner with local colleges and universities to provide students with not just what a comprehensive high school would offer, but for some college experiences as well. These courses, as Mr. Napoleon said, definitely push rigor. They prepare students for their next step. They ease the burden of college costs. And they prepare students for success in college and beyond. Next year we are offering 2 new AP courses. And every year, as I said, we're looking to enhance opportunities for students. So next year, we're offering AP Chemistry. We did offer that in years past, but we haven't offered it in the last few years. We are offering that next year, and that will be offered every other year. And AP Biology will be offered on the other years. The second AP course that is completely brand new to Sterling High School is AP Art History. So 2 new AP courses for next year. We talked a little bit about the one-to-one tablet initiative. So we are currently in year 2 of this tablet initiative. Last year, our AP classes and our Allied Health program, the students that were enrolled in our Allied Health program were issued one-to-one devices. So students got tablets, teachers set up accounts through Microsoft. Microsoft is the platform that we use. And there was a lot of interaction that was encouraged between students and among students and the teacher, and it was very successful. This year we are, as I said, in year 2, so we outfitted the entire freshman class with devices, and the opportunities have just exploded since we've had an entire class of students that have these devices. Next year, the class of 2022 will also get devices. So by next year, we think about 70% of our student body will have devices. And our hope is that the following year we can have school that is completely one-to-one. We believe that it is such a, as you can see up here, tremendous vehicle for learning. Students are so familiar with technology, and we want to make sure that we enhance their opportunities by allowing them to use this device in the classroom, to use it as a learning tool, and to, prepare them again for what they're going to see beyond the walls of Sterling High School. Okay, as you peruse the program planning guide can be found on the Sterling website in a few different locations under students and under parents. There is a curriculum tab and the program planning guide is there. As you take a look at the program planning guide, I want you to draw some attention to the graduation requirements. If you look in any program planning guide across the state of New Jersey, you will see graduation requirements, and they all will be very similar. These are dictated by the state, the number of credits, and the number of the specific courses that students have to take. The one thing that is different with Sterling High School, and this started with this current freshman class, the class of 2021, is that we are including a 5th year of English as a graduation requirement. So every student, when they enter Sterling, will take 2 English classes. They will take an English 1 and an English comp. And the English composition, will focus on research, writing, and just familiarizing students with the tablets, with the devices, with the Microsoft platform that we use, with Turnitin, which is a plagiarism software that we use across all of our English classes. It's a really powerful class. It turned out to be very successful this year in its first year, and we're just excited to continue to build on that. Making sure students are successful here at Sterling by learning the Sterling writing instrument, but also making sure that there's no gaps in the areas where we've seen some weaknesses when analyzing data, like PARCC data and MAP tests, and even our local assessments, which is that the research simulation and writing skills. And so that's why we decided to create this course and focus it on those areas. There's also a second part of graduation requirements, and that is a testing requirement. This is also going to be found in the program planning guide. It is, however, a link to the state of New Jersey because this is ever-changing. This is the most recent testing requirements that are offered from the state of New Jersey for the class of 2022. It's important that everyone takes a look at this. Obviously, it's, graduation is tied to this, but also because it does change, and it has changed regularly. For instance, every class that's currently at Sterling, so our freshmen through seniors, every single class has a different testing requirement. So right now, I'm working with what the requirement is for the seniors, but knowing that the juniors have something that's slightly different, and the sophomores have something that's slightly different, so forth and so on. So this is currently the graduation requirement for our freshman class, and it says for the class of 2021 and beyond, so that would be, your class as well. So though this may change, we have to prepare for what is currently stated, and I do want to take a minute to take a look at this. So there's always been a testing requirement in the state of New Jersey. When I was in high school, it was the HSPT, then it was followed by the HSPA or the HESPA. Then it was various different assessments that could be used as a testing requirement for graduation while they were rolling out PARCC. But currently what they're saying is that there are 2 pathways for graduation, and the first pathway is tied directly to PARCC. Performance on English, grade 10, and performance on Algebra 1. And a passing score is required in order to meet those testing requirements. Okay. The second pathway is a portfolio. So what students would have to do is if they did not meet one of the requirements in that first pathway, they'd have to work with a teacher and create a portfolio, which is a series of tasks that are guidelines are provided by the Department of Ed, but they are created within house. And they work with the teacher through those tasks. Those tasks are then submitted to the Department of Ed for approval, and students are graded, and then graduation status is determined. If you see in red, that second pathway is only possible for a student if they successfully take all the PARCC exams that are aligned to the courses in which they are enrolled. So I think it's important that you guys are familiar with this because it has implications that start right now. Okay? Some students are probably in Algebra 1 right now in 8th grade. So how they perform on that Algebra 1, that Algebra 1 Park will dictate whether or not they might meet that math testing requirements. Okay? Others may see it next year if they're enrolled in Algebra 1 in their freshman year, which is the common math course for 9th graders. So I think it's important that you guys are familiar with this. And again, in the program planning guide, there is a link to the Department of Ed website because it does change. And I want to make sure that you guys are familiar with that change should it happen. Okay, so how does this affect Sterling High School? Well, I already talked a little bit at length about English composition. So even before we had, the strict Park English requirement for graduation, we saw the need for some, enrichment within our English program, and that's why we decided to create the English composition course. But a new course for next year is going to be a pre-algebra course. Since Algebra Park has such an important requirement now that's attached to it, we want to make sure that students are successful on that. So one thing that we are going to do is we're going to offer pre-algebra for students that were not successful on their grade 8 math Park exam. So if a student takes the grade 8 math Park and does not receive a passing score, there is a strong correlation that if they didn't pass it in 8th grade, they're not going to pass it in 9th grade with the Algebra 1. So we want to try to build a bridge to help those students with some of those skills that were weak in that 8th grade test so that they can be successful. So what we're going to be doing is any student that was not successful on the grade 8 Park will be enrolled in pre-algebra first semester and algebra second semester. So there is no delay in their math sequence. They would still have algebra within their 9th grade year and could follow with geometry, algebra 2, pre-calc, or algebra 3 trig should they continue to proceed through 4 years of math. We're also going to be offering an algebra review course, and this course would be for students after they take the Algebra 1 course and pass the Algebra 1 course, but maybe don't pass the Algebra 1 Park. Okay? We want them to have a second opportunity to take the Algebra 1 Park before we jump into that portfolio process, which is lengthy. In order to take the Algebra 1 Park, you have to be enrolled in an Algebra 1 course. So rather than taking the course a second time, which they were already successful in the first time through, we would have them just sit in an Algebra 1 review class. This would be a perfect class that we could run during that middle of the day. So it wouldn't take away from any of the other opportunities that they would want, any other courses, electives that they would want to have in their schedule. In a few minutes, you guys are going to see a video of some of our 4-year programs that we offer. Again, it's important that you're familiar with these because you are starting to build your high school resume, okay? When you're scheduling your classes, you want to think about the future. And I know that sometimes it's hard in February of your 8th grade year or your child's 8th grade year to think about what they want to do. We're hoping that one of these programs sparks your interest so that you have a plan for the 4 years. And college credit, again, is tied to this plan. Greater success is tied to any student that has a plan and a vision for the future. Before I do that, I think I would like to open up the floor for any questions because it looks like there might be some wheels turning with that information that I presented with the graduation requirements. So maybe before we take a look at this video, I'll see if there's any questions.
Ms. Constein, I wanted to just mention before we get into questions, those parents of students with an IEP, Mr. Eckmeyer most likely will contact you and the child study team personnel will set up a meeting if they haven't done so, but it's coming up. But everything that we're talking about is offered to all of our students, so keep in mind. There may be different levels, different recommendations, but all those programs you see behind us are open to students with an IEP. Coming up this year, and actually it's open now, is our student steward, or school steward. and it's operated by our multi-disabled students. And so we're pretty proud of that. What will come in the near future, probably in the following year, is a updated STEM lab with a wood shop and a makerspace. So again, that's a great opportunity for all students, and we're happy to open it up to all students. So I wanted to put that out. And these are the questions that you ask at your IEP meeting with Mr. Eckmeyer coming up. So, any questions for Ms. Considine? I got a mic, I can walk around here. Okay? All right, go ahead.
Well, the PARCC test is, I'm going to go back a few slides here. So, I would say a few years ago there was some challenges with the PARCC test and participation. I think that we were better off than some other high schools. We had pretty good participation. If you take a look at these pathways, there is no alternative any longer. Because the first pathway is obviously directly related, tied to the PARCC exam. The second pathway is only possible if you sit for all the PARCC exams.
Let me just add to that. I'm going to say, Mr. Sheen was around, he remembers. You got a nice letter from the State Department of Education saying that this is what's going to happen. School districts like Washington Township came out and they stated, like the superintendent said, they don't have to take it. Teachers got on board. And they had probably 10% of the kids take it that year. We came in front of our kids and said, you're going to take it. And the reason why is because it was going to be tied into something. It was great practice. And as a result, with the fall, am I correct? One student opted out. Is that correct?
One student refused, and it was a student who, it wasn't tied directly to graduation because she was a junior. One student. Because I think the parents of this district, I think the administration, teachers, they understand that 2, 3, 4 years down the road, this is mandatory, and we were right. Now, whether the governor is going to take PARCC away, I don't know. I think there'll be some form like PARCC, but the point is it's mandatory, you know, and we take it on a computer because guess what? Everything's going to be on the computer. It's great practice, and it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt at all. And so I'm proud to say that the kids responded, and I would not recommend you to have your kid opt out. I think it's easy. Any other questions? Yes.
Just that I know the test results for PARCC don't come in until September. So how does that pre-algebra class work if you don't have the results yet?
Okay, very good question. So the question was, PARCC results don't come back till September, so how can you plan for scheduling a student when school starts in September? Well, PARCC results come back actually in early July. So the first year they came back in November, so there was very little you can do. Then it was September, but this past summer we did receive them in early July, and they're anticipating that as well. We are going to use the 7th grade results preliminarily to place students, and then if something changes, if a student wasn't successful in 7th grade but then is successful in 8th grade, we can make a schedule change at that point, and vice versa.
I want to add something to the one-to-one device that I think is so important. An example, 3 years ago we started with the AP program, and we started with a software called Albert I/O. And then we gave the kids a computer the following year, I think, right?
Yep.
Okay. So as a result, our test scores, we are above some of the highest schools in the state of New Jersey. We're above the global mark. And I believe it's due to the technology. Obviously, we have great teachers. Obviously, we have great kids. And it's not easy. If you choose to take an AP course, it's hard. There's no doubt about it. But we're achieving. But my point is, we asked the Board of Education for a sum of money in order to increase student achievement, and it's working. And so soon, all of our students will have it, and we're going to bring it into other areas, like the English composition course. So I wanted to add that. Program planning guide in Wisconsin, I talked about it. Just go right to our website. You can look right through it. And if you are a regular ed student, IEP student, it doesn't matter. Everything is in there for you. And this whole PARCC thing, is a difficult one. Just to say again, our district, we believe in it, and we've been proactive, and that's kind of what the algebra thing is, the new course entering. We are not in control of what happens at Magnolia. or what happens in Summerhill or in Stratford. We do talk, or we talk often, but in the end, as superintendent, I have no control. And so I do know that when we see a student that needs something, needs a little remediation, we're going to be on it right away. Because in the end, we're going to be responsible. And I'm not going to sit here and say that, maybe, this school didn't do this or that. I know what Sterling High School could do. And so when you see a course like that on your child's schedule, understand that it's for their good. We need to remediate. We need to be there right now for junior and senior year when it comes down to graduation and being ready for the next level. So, Ms. Constance?
Any other questions? I think I see a few hands now coming up.
Hi, there are rumors that I've heard that you're talking about getting rid of the block scheduling. Is this true or no?
I think we're staying on block. Mr. Napoleon would know better than I.
We're currently in contract negotiations with the teachers, and so I really can't say at this time. Is it our goal? We're always looking at new format, yes. There's no doubt about it. But keep in mind, we're achieving more and more. We're doing things within that current schedule that's giving kids full year math, full year English, and things like that. Personally, yes. I'm going to ask you that's a goal that we're looking at. But I can't make a change unless there's an agreement. And it's a tough thing, it is. But I don't think we're losing out right now. I think we perfected it, and we're going to continue to look for that, yeah.
On the next slide, we want to make sure the pathways. Sorry. You said it was ROTC, STEM, there's video production, stuff like that.
Yes.
Are those pathways for like 9th grade through 12? Like, what if, I know there were some electives for 9th graders, but what if they wanted to be in one of those pathways and don't get those classes 9th grade? Will that affect them?
Okay, if they're, number one, no, it will not affect them. Ideally, if they could get in those classes in 9th grade, it would make it a smoother transition. But we have so many opportunities within the schedule, with the block schedule. Students have, even without that middle of the day, they have 8 courses that are offered. So if you think of a traditional schedule, which has 8 periods, one of them is lunch. So usually students would only have 7 academic courses within a year. Our students already have 8 even without that middle of the day. So there's plenty of opportunities for them to double up their sophomore or junior year should they not get what they want their freshman year.
Most schools give 35 credits a year, offer 35 credits a year. We give 45. We offer 45. You don't need 130 to graduate. You see what I'm saying? We're giving them more opportunities. Any other questions?
We have 1 or 2 more.
So let me get this straight. If they take a class here, right, algebra, say, pass the class, but then fail the part test, you're going to actually put them in a remedial algebra class. Is that correct?
It's not going to be a remedial class because it's going to be a review. So it's going to be all students that are in that same boat. So it's not going to be like they're in with students that needed, remediation from the beginning, but we are going to have them revisit some of the algebra skills, which will allow them to retake the algebra part. The only way they can retake the algebra part is for them to be enrolled in an algebra course. So that's our plan, to have them enrolled in an algebra course. So I wouldn't consider it a remedial course. I would consider it a review. They passed the course, and that's why we're not having them retake the course.
But it's their graduation requirement. If we don't remediate, I know it's tough. Yeah, we try to work with. I'm a rule follower. I always say, I'm a rule follower. And the governor says do this. Well, guess what? We got to do it. And there's no other better explanation than that. And it's so hard to. That's why we moved to 9 courses in a year rather than 8, so that the kid doesn't miss something else. It always is. There's that buffer there. So it's a tough one. Yeah.
Okay, so in years past, our counselors have always gone down to the sending schools, and for any choice student, the students and their parents came in, and they sat with the families to choose courses within preparing for the freshman year. Because of the English comp course, which is now another course in the freshman year, and this potential pre-algebra course for some students, there's very few opportunities for, for various electives freshman year. You may have one elective your freshman year. So I believe that elective sheets from our guidance department were distributed to all the students, and students ranked their electives, and the counselors are going to, do their best to get the students in the electives that they want. And then beyond that, if there's a program tonight that you are interested in and maybe you didn't know much about it, so you didn't choose that elective on the elective sheet, you will have the opportunity to contact the guidance department and make any changes up through June 30th. So there is opportunity to do that still.
Ma'am, were you notified of a schedule, of your schedule, child schedule? Were you notified?
We got a paper where she selected.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
And that was it. And my second question was, when they took them test
Mhm. Okay, so what she's talking about are the honors placement tests. So our sending schools, we had our counselors go down to the sending schools in late January, and then we did some makeup testing last week and testing for our choice students. The results from our sending schools have been graded. The ones from last week have not yet been. We're going to compile them all. I'm also waiting on one school district. I'm waiting for some additional information because we don't use the test alone. We also use map results and current grade. So once I have all that information, that will be communicated with parents for the honors testing and with the guidance counselors also, so that, yes. Okay.
I have a question about the core courses. So the counselors last year came to the surrounding schools and they sat down with the students through the core courses. So how does that work? The counselors here at Sterling are going to teacher, but the teacher recommend for core courses the student is to take, and then what if the parent decides that's not the courses they want their child to take?
Okay, so the question was, I think in years past, there was always that face-to-face meeting. So you got to sit with the counselors and kind of have a discussion about your child's schedule. So you had the same material that you had at that scheduling meeting, we still have. So we still have we've been in communication with all the sending schools, so we still have the teacher recommendations and all of that information. Once that's completed by our guidance department, schedules will be sent to the students and the parents, and at that time you have the opportunity, if you're not happy with that schedule or you want to push for a different class, to set up a meeting with the guidance department.
We're not going to have any schedule final until June 30th. So you may get them in the next month. You have all this time to look it over and decide, review the program planning guide, contact Mr. Eckmeyer's office. You come in during the day, after school, we'll accommodate you with that. We just changed with the technology because those meetings face-to-face weren't really much. They were already determined, and we felt it was not a waste of time, but we felt we wanted to try something different. This is the first year we're doing that, isn't it correct? Yeah. Any other questions?
Okay, oh, we got one more.
I just want
Yeah.
to know, I know you said that it can be changed up to June 30th. I know sometimes with mail, we don't always get it on time. Is there anything you can do after the 30th to say it came in afterwards? I know a lot of staff leaves
Yeah.
at the end of the,
Yeah, I would definitely stay in contact with the guidance office now. If you gave an email, it could be sent electronically also. So I think it's both. But please, if you don't get it in the next month, contact us. Okay. All right, Ms. Constance.
Okay, so as I stated a little bit ago, we have a short video that's going to highlight some of these special programs that we have, that you see on display here. And then afterwards, I'm going to ask that if you're interested in learning a little bit more about any of these programs, that you join me in the cafeteria. We'll walk over together. There's going to be some students and parents that can talk a little bit more in detail about any of these programs, or if you kind of want to peruse them all and get a little tasting of everything, you have that opportunity as well. So we're going to watch a short video, and then we will move over to the cafeteria.
Allied Health is a cooperative program with Rutgers University School of Health Professions. Any student who is interested in a diverse field of health science careers, including nursing, surgery, physical therapy, pharmacy, or laboratory research, will benefit from this hands-on program that emphasizes crafting the ability to think critically and solve problems through experimentation, dissection, and field experience. Students who enroll in Allied Health have the opportunity to take 5 classes worth up to 17 college credits, including anatomy, physiology 1 and 2, medical math, medical terminology, and dynamics of healthcare. Credits are transferable and accepted by many colleges and universities outside of Rutgers. Volunteerism is also a part of Allied Health, where students will participate in local food and blood drives, among other initiatives. And students who pursue this route often find themselves as candidates for the National Honor Society. There are many more opportunities offered through Allied Health, and we proudly acknowledge that the majority of students who participate leave with most of the credits and go on to 4-year institutions where they demonstrate success in the fields of study they choose. Regardless of the path your child may choose, our objective is to prepare students for the rigors of college, career, and life. I'm sure that you've heard of the concept of STEM or STEAM, but what is all the hype about? STEM careers are some of the most in-demand, highest-paid jobs out there. Unlike other classes where learning happens independent of each other, STEM classes allow students to connect disciplines. Students work together in collaborative groups to apply knowledge from the sciences to solve engineering problems. Many of the students from our STEM program have gone on to major in engineering and computer science in college. If you have an interest in science, engineering, or technology, enroll in STEM class. Believe the hype. The Sterling Performing Arts Department features 2 curricular performing ensembles and 4 extracurricular ensembles. The concert band and concert choir are the cornerstones of the program and feature the most students all together. These groups perform our winter and spring concerts, as well as several community functions and field trips throughout the year. There are over 100 students involved in our concert ensembles, so they serve as a great way for new students to make friends and be immersed in the Sterling community right away. In addition to the concert band, there are 2 extracurricular instrumental ensembles, the marching band and jazz band. The marching band is a performance ensemble open to all students in grade 9 through 12. It combines music, dance, and military-esque marching into one activity and is composed of several different sections, including drummers, percussionists, horn players, and color guard, who dance and spin flags and rifles. The marching band season runs from mid-July to early November, performing at local parades, football games, and marching band competitions. The jazz band is an audition performing ensemble that runs from January through April. Students learn about and perform classic and contemporary jazz repertoire while developing fundamental skills in improvisation. The jazz band also performs all over the tri-state area in jazz competitions. In the vocal music department, there are also 2 extracurricular ensembles. The Silvertones are an audition-only show choir that performs at competitions and community events. The second group is the cast of the Spring Musical. They put on a theatrical show that brings thousands of community members out to see it every year. Both groups are great for students who are more passionate about performing on stage. Our course offerings in the music department are also very extensive. Our most popular class is piano, where students of any skill level can learn to play. Our other classes include music technology, where the students learn to use software associated with sound engineering. Music appreciation, where students can learn about history and styles of music. Music theory, where students study the language of music through analysis of composition. Music workshop, where students can learn a new instrument or focus on technical practice or repertoire of their own on a current instrument in a similar setting to concert band. The musical theater, a class for students or interested in learning more singing and acting technique. The Early Childhood Education Program is a 5-course program that incorporates a preschool laboratory component in the upper levels. Child development is a theory-based course that will help students gain an understanding of physical, cognitive, and social and emotional development milestones from conception until the age of 8. Early childhood 1 through 4 all take place in conjunction with the preschool program. Students in all 4 of these courses complete weekly lesson plans and post-teaching reflections, as well as observations that pertain to the specific course content. Early Childhood 1 focuses on the planning, preparation, and delivery of developmentally appropriate curriculum for young children, including the history of early childhood education and various curriculum models. Early Childhood 2 explores childhood health, safety, and nutrition needs. Early Childhood 3 takes a more in-depth look at curriculum design and integration of developmentally appropriate creative experiences in the early childhood learning classroom. Early Childhood 4 will guide the students in creating a portfolio that they can use to help earn their Child Development Associate, a national credential that is a stepping stone to a career in early childhood education. The program is articulated through Camden County College, and the students who choose to complete all 5 classes will have the opportunity to earn 12 college credits. Students are also encouraged to join FCCLA, a national association that promotes career development in family and consumer sciences, such as early childhood, culinary arts, fashion design, and more. Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps is the only formalized leadership development program taught at the high school level. The 2 instructors teaching junior ROTC serve full careers in the U.S. Navy and have over 50 years of combined leadership experience. The difference between our leadership program and other high school opportunities is that we teach leadership fundamentals and principles in the classroom and then supervise the students in a practical application environment. Our company quarters class serves as an annual gym class requirement and provides the lab environment to practice leadership skills during physical activity, close order drill, and uniform inspections. The cadets get their chance to lead their peers in numerous extracurricular activities we offer. We have competitive drill teams, a marksmanship air rifle program, and academic, physical fitness, and orienteering competitions. We also average over 60 hours of community service per cadet per year. It's a complete mind, body, and spirit approach to leadership development. While this program is modeled on the Navy core values of honor, courage, and commitment, there is no requirement to serve in the military. While some of our cadets join the military after high school through a variety of service academy appointments, college ROTC scholarship programs, and direct service enlistments, our primary focus is to help the students achieve whatever their goals are after high school. Whether it be college or trade school or military service, all of our graduates have a plan. We take numerous field trips and invite numerous visitors in to talk about careers and to guide our cadets to success. Your student will gain respect, self-discipline, and leadership while having fun and making lifelong friends at Sterling and other schools across the region. Our mission is to take good high school students and make them great. I hope your student joins our family and gets to grow with us over the next 4 years. In our own TV and radio studios, students will learn to design, direct, produce, and edit television and radio broadcasts. Students develop their public speaking, journalism, management, and technical skills by appearing on the Sterling Morning News on Channel 19 and on our radio station, WSHS. Unique to Sterling High School is our Channel 19, which is a TV channel that goes out to Summerdale, Stratford, Magnolia, Laurel Springs, and Hynella on Comcast Channel 19, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with student-produced programming of sports, shows, and community events. The radio station features music DJ'd by students and live sporting events. Inside the TV classroom, our students produce award-winning TV public service announcements, make music videos, and develop and produce their own TV shows. In the radio classes, the students learn to convey important announcements and entertain fellow students as well as our community. If communications is your possible area of study, Sterling High School offers opportunities not available in most high schools across South Jersey. Whether it's allied health, STEM, performing arts, early childhood education, NJROTC, or TV and radio, Sterling High School has something for everyone. Go Knights! Allied Health is a cooperative program with Rutgers University School of
All right, thank you, Mr. Kay. So as I said earlier, if you're interested in learning some more about these programs, we do have some teachers and students available in the cafeteria. So you can either exit this door up here or the one in the far, my left, make a left and head on down to the cafeteria. I will be there also if you have individual questions about the curriculum. If you are interested in the last program that was highlighted, the TV production, Mr. Kay is in the back and he will be able to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you for coming tonight, and I hope that you are looking forward to your time here at Sterling and enjoy the next few months leading up to planning the big trip over to the castle. Thank you.